Good morning, everybody. Happy Tuesday to you. I hope you are doing well today. We're an hour later than I planned on being. The things that I shared with you yesterday about being sort of in transition and going through a lot of different things at this time or over the last 9 months or so, when I planned on when I would be making the grand entrance back for Project Joy Live, then things changed again, and that's how life works sometimes. So I had to take a little detour today, but we'll be back at normal time tomorrow and the rest of the week, and I'm excited to be back with you for another episode today. We're going to talk about because see, this is what I'm good at. I'm good at or one of the things that I'm really good at is turning something nothing into something. And so as we're talking about today, being later than normal, I was asking myself the question, is joy ever late? What do we do when we feel like joy is late? And what do we do when we discover joy later on than we anticipated? So we're going to talk a little bit about that coming up today. If you're joining us live, I would love for you to use the comment section, say hello, say good morning, let me know where you're joining from. I'm your host, Jessica Dugas, and you're watching Project Joy Live, your weekday morning triple shot of good vibes. And I've got a fun story to share with you today. We have a couple national days to talk about. Don't worry about getting a snack today. I don't have any big snack days like I did for you yesterday. We've also got birthdays coming up at the end of the show as well. So be sure you let me know if it is your birthday today or if you've celebrated a birthday recently, because you have to be included in our birthday song. That's just the way it is. So there's a few different things I want to talk about today, but I'm going to head over to the comments really quickly first. Juju's here in the front row again this morning. Grand Rising, good to see you today. Sharon's here this morning. Good morning. Listening with gratitude in Colorado. And look what I have here, Miss Sharon. Look what I have here, because I rocked these this morning as I had to drop my husband off somewhere. See my gratitude glasses, you guys. See that? Thank you, Sharon. So starting off the day with gratitude is always a great day to start a great day to start the day, a great way to start the day as well. So let's start. I think we'll start first with a little maybe a good news story, and then I'll roll into what happens when joy is late, which is what we're going to talk about today. So there's a story that I was reading about two sisters were put up for adoption at the end of World War II. Now think about how long ago that was, okay? And they finally reunite after 75 years apart. 75 years apart. It took 75 years, but two sisters who were placed up for adoption at the end of World War II were finally reunited. Annie and Sheila, both in their late 70s, have Sheila's daughter-in-law and Annie's son to thank for the reunion after they took it upon themselves, separated, to track their long-lost relatives. Adopted in the UK as an infant in 1946, Sheila had no knowledge of who her birth parents were, but using a DNA product, they discovered she had a half-sister who lived in the Netherlands, born just a few months after her to the same father. Sheila's daughter-in-law, Karen, was messaged by Annie's son, Mark, and both sisters did a DNA test which confirmed that they were related. After meeting for the first time last year, Sheila said it was like looking in the mirror and talking to myself. It was amazing. We have the same hobbies and the same medical complaints. It is very strange. She always knew she was adopted because her parents told her I was special because mommy and daddy picked me. They said her father was a Canadian soldier who fought against the Nazis in Europe and returned home after the war. The search for Sheila's birth father had remained unsuccessful for 8 years, leading the family to believe they had hit a dead end. Meanwhile, in the Netherlands, Annie was also trying to uncover her family history. After finding out her stepfather was not her biological father, and Annie only discovered the truth after overhearing a conversation between relatives and searching through family documents. Annie's biological father was a Canadian soldier who had fought in World War II and participated in the liberation of the Netherlands from Nazi occupation. Um, so it's really cool. After 75 years, they meet up, and they don't just meet up, they find out they have all of these amazing things in common. So it's a great inspirational story that reminds us that, goodbye is not always forever, and that sometimes those reunions can happen. And it's a wonderful, beautiful thing when it does. Good morning, Divine DNA. Good to see you today. As always, let me know what is bringing you guys joy today, because that story definitely brought me joy and like I said, reminded me that goodbye isn't always forever. I think we have, like, just like that story we talked about yesterday with the camera that had been turned up after all that time. um so I think it's much easier today to reconnect with things and with people than it used to be. If some of y'all want to rewind with me for just a minute here, remember when we would meet someone, and in order to keep in touch, we would have to, like, send a letter. Remember when there was no email? Remember when that wasn't a thing? And so it just, this was a beautiful reminder to me again of the power of social media, how social media can be used for good and connection, and all of these technological advances that we have now as well, of the DNA tests and things like that. So really cool that that happened. And fun fact, something like that happened in my family. So we had, a couple of us have done the DNA testing through ancestry.com, and it turned out my father and his siblings found another sibling. So I have an aunt, Joanne, that nobody knew existed until a few years ago. And so it's been really cool to watch that reconnection happen and everything as well. A lot of fun to watch that. So these things happen, and it's really cool. Good morning, Carla. It is good to see you today. Divine DNA says gratitude is bringing me joy, being a wonderful woman, wife, mommy, and Gigi. I love it. I love it. I love it. My grandma was Gigi to my kids as well. So that's a lot of fun. So let me know what else is bringing you guys joy today. I want to share with you about our topic today, which is when joy comes later. Does joy come later? We're going to talk about that now. So it's interesting because, I talk about on this show how joy is your choice. Joy exists in every moment, but sometimes, and I mentioned this yesterday as I was filling you guys in on where I've been, and sort of what's was going on with that, why it's taken me so long to get back onto Project Joy, is that during challenging times, it can be really hard to see that joy that's going on. And so a lot of times in reflection, we'll look back and we'll go, oh, like something will just hit us, and we'll go, oh, there's the joy. That's where the joy was, whether it was in something that we missed, or a lesson that you learned on reflection, or something like that. And what I found for me is, when I feel that joy after the fact, I often will ask myself, like, okay, what now? Like, what's the point now? What's the point of this joy coming up now? Because we know the importance of being present in the moment, right? We know the importance of really being immersed in whatever's going on in the moment. So what then is the point of, 5 minutes, 5 years, 5 months, whatever it is down the road, going, oh, there's the joy now. And I think it gives us the ability to look back on the situation in a new light, and possibly with less of a traumatic reaction. I'm not saying that the trauma of any situation will be erased. However, it's an opportunity for us to look back, and perhaps I'm not always a huge fan of the word triggered, but to look back and not be as triggered, not have those physical responses. And so as I'm thinking about that, I'm thinking about, like, okay, perspective. Was joy in that circumstance late? Was it just something that came later on? And I think the truth is that Joy always exists in every single moment. This is how I believe. Joy exists in every moment, but sometimes we are not ready to experience that joy for whatever reason. I talk about this often. I'm gonna be really clear in any of the examples that I give today that I'm talking about me and my experience. I cannot speak for you, but I am stubborn as hell. Okay, and sometimes, all the time, it takes me. It can take me a little bit longer to learn a lesson or to really truly understand something because I am but I want to do it my way kind of person. Um, and so I'm much more stubborn when it when it comes to things. And I know some of you can relate because some of us have had that conversation of why does some people they just move on and me it takes the universe giving me a whole shove to get there. Why is that? Um, and I think some of us just we're explorers. I was sharing this yesterday as I was recording my episode of one that's coming out on Friday. Some of us are explorers. We're little scientists inside, and we like to try lots of different things. And so, we're subconsciously on this mission to do all the things before we get to the one that really needs to happen. And so I think sometimes we're stubborn. We need to have sort of that little kick in the rear end before we're ready to experience the joy because sometimes things need to have a lasting effect. Now, this is a concept, a thought is um that I'd love to know your thoughts and opinions on this because I've heard so many mixed things. The thought is that you can't experience pure joy unless you've experienced the opposite of it, unless you've experienced great loss, pain, grief. I'd love to know if you believe that that's true. So I'm gonna use sort of a loosey goosey kind of fun example here. Okay, so think about a time when you had tried something for the first time and it was literally the most delicious thing, the most delicious version of that thing that you've ever tasted. Okay, so let's say that you try chocolate ice cream. Okay. And you've never tried chocolate ice cream, and you take a bite of this chocolate ice cream, and Lord, the joy overcomes you, right? You love this chocolate ice cream. It's delicious. It's amazing. It tastes so good. Are you without joy in that moment because you've never tried another version of it? I don't think so. So I just, like I said, this is a very light, loosey goosey kind of example, but I don't think that you could be without joy. Like joy is what it is. Now, that doesn't mean that in 5 years, somebody doesn't introduce you to another flavor of chocolate or another type of chocolate ice cream, and you go, oh my God, this is the best chocolate ice cream I've ever had in my life, right? It doesn't, to me, take away the joy from that experience, from having tried that chocolate ice cream for the first time. The joy simply is what it is. Does that make sense for everybody? There doesn't need to be this comparison of this black or white comparison of did the joy exist or not. Yes, you might like the new flavor of chocolate ice cream better, but it doesn't take away the joy that existed in that time. So so rewinding back to that sentiment of you can't experience pure joy unless you've experienced the opposite of, I want to sort of I want to push the boundaries a little bit today and say that maybe I don't quite agree with that, because I believe we can experience joy and experience more joy later, or a different type of joy later, or a different something different later, and both are what they are. They can stand alone, you know what I mean? And I think the harm that it does for us subconsciously when we believe a sentiment like you have to know pain to experience joy is that we feel like that has to come first. Like I said, it's not always a conscious thing, but sometimes subconsciously we get in this habit of, well, I can't be happy unless I'm sad, or I can't be successful unless I work my ass off to get there. I can't insert whatever joy here unless I insert whatever the opposite of for you is here. And that doesn't need to be the pattern. Is anybody out there feeling a little bit inspired by that? Like, who wants to just have the ability to tap into whatever goodness and joy is out there without this subconscious need to fulfill some kind of duty first? Some kind of duty to experience. Like I said, it's not always a conscious thing. I want to make that really clear. These are things that happen in the back of our mind when we have these things go on and go, well, that's just the way it is. Is it though? Does it have to be? I don't think so. And I don't think for me that I want to necessarily subscribe to that anymore. So going back, and I want to acknowledge really quickly, Divine DNA says, I don't believe you need to experience pain to know joy. I hate that cliche. And I really I'm thinking about that right now and just going, wow, like, I really don't want to subscribe to that. That's not like, I want to be able to experience something for the pure joy it is and not have any kind of stronghold to, I have to XYZ in order for me to truly feel the joy, the gratitude, the appreciation of, right? It seems like, God, we could get to joy quicker, couldn't we? Couldn't we get to joy quicker if we didn't if we didn't feel that stronghold to that have to? So going back to our topic at hand today is joy. What do we do when joy is late? And joy existed at that point all the time. And so I think when we experience joy after the fact, if we are truly unable to tap into the joy in whatever circumstance that we're in, because we know that some of these circumstances are hard. When our kids are in pain, when someone we love dies, when we lose a job, when our house burns down, when we get in a car accident, when we witness injustice, these are all moments when it becomes a challenge for us to tap into that joy in the moment. And I'm not talking about, when someone dies, like, laughing instead of crying. It's not that kind of thing, right? And so it's appreciating what it is upon looking back, and allows us to go, okay, it was there all the time. And it goes back to another concept that we've talked about on the show before, which is another one that is really challenging for people, because as we hear those internal and external voices, it's hard to tune that out and really listen to the message of our soul, which like I said, we've talked about on this show before, that Carla points out right now. What if you are joy? What if you are joy? We've talked about that so many times on this show. Thank you, Carla, for that reminder. There's so many different ways to look at it. But as we're going through something, it's now 5 minutes later, 5 weeks later, 5 months later, 5 years later, 5 decades later, we look back and go, oh, there's the joy. So what do I do with that now? Now we can choose to look back on it with in a different way. We have to stay out of, in that moment, feeling like there was something else we needed to do, or going, why couldn't that initial reaction of why couldn't I see it in the moment? Because you weren't meant to. Because you weren't meant to. There's no guilt or shame or what ifs to be had in that moment. It's simply looking back and going, oh, okay. And using that newfound joy as a touch point to not have to lean so heavy into whatever trauma there is in the moment. Sharon says, life gives us all kinds of experiences. Some are great, some are sad, some are hard. I just give grace to it all. Why put a time on joy? Late, early, why not? It's just whenever it is. And it can come whenever, right, Sharon? It can come at different times. And perhaps this moment's joy is realizing the joy in a previous moment that you couldn't see before. And we've talked about this before as well on the show, where joy is it's that gift that keeps on giving, very similar to gratitude. It's this rolling thing that happens and goes from moment to moment to moment. And it's a really beautiful thing. So there's joy in this moment right now. And I want to speak to you specifically if you are having a hard time today, if you woke up this morning and you're like, why? Anybody ever have those mornings? Why life today? I want to speak to you specifically and say there is joy in your moment. And if you can't feel it yet, that's okay. And perhaps one day on reflection, you'll look back and you'll go, I see it now. I'm thankful for seeing it now. And I can have joy in this moment and for myself in that moment past as well. We're going to take a really quick break, you guys. We're going to come back and talk about national days and, of course, birthdays. Let me know if you're celebrating a birthday today as well. And we will be right back after this. Don't go anywhere. Breakthroughs are about more than you might think. They're about discovering who you are, digging deep, reaching to the core of your soul. They're about healing yourself, understanding your beliefs, creating a ripple effect. And it's not just those initial moments that matter. It's about using them to bring more joy into our own lives and the lives of others. It's about having fun, letting loose, enjoying every moment life has to offer. It's about finding a safe space. It's about creating connection. Join us each and every day for exclusive programming, special events, and a community to call home, where we invite you to explore, change the way you look at and live your life, and go beyond the breakthrough. So we ask you, are you ready? We'll see you online at thebreakthroughshow.com. Welcome back to Project Joy Live. I'm your host, Jessica Dugas. Today is Tuesday, April 4th. How are we in April, you guys? I'm just trying to figure that out. April 4th, 2023. We're your triple shot of good vibes this beautiful Tuesday morning. Took a little ride this morning, and I had started. If you guys want to see some cool photos I've been taking around where I live, I started an Instagram called Groton CT Life, GROTON CT Life. And it's photos and videos that I've taken around the area here near Groton, Connecticut, or I live in Mystic, but looking at the area around here and just appreciating, just having that gratitude. And I drove by early this morning, a beautiful reservoir in Ledyard, Connecticut. So head over to that Instagram and check that out if you're interested. It brings me a lot of joy to see the beauty of nature and also to notice things. Speaking about on reflection, joy later on, to notice things that I didn't notice growing up in this area, but to notice them now, and to look at some of the things that I did notice back then and see how they've changed and how they can still bring me joy today. So definitely check that out. That's Groton CT Life on Instagram if you're interested in seeing some beauty around where I live here in Mystic, Connecticut. So, Divine DNA had said hard work pays off, suffer now to get to greatness, etc. If the amount of joy I feel matched the pain I've endured in this life, I'd be floating around on a cloud of joy. Imagine imagine being so joyful that like you don't erase any of the things that the challenging things that you're feeling. Like, it's definitely not dishonoring that, but like to snap out of it quicker, like honor it and then be like, back on my cloud. Back on my cloud. I was watching Care Bears the other day. You guys remember the Care Bears movies from the 80s? I was watching that the other day with my youngest, and first time she had ever seen it, and it was such a fun moment to watch that with her, because that was one of my favorite movies growing up. And I was thinking about the Care Bears are floating around on that cloud, Angelique, right? And they're doing all that, but they can't do the work unless they come down off that cloud to all of us, that little boy on Earth that was trying to cast a spell. It was not a good situation. Go watch the Care Bears movie. That's my homework for you today. We got to get to national days today, so let's talk about that. So I don't know if you guys know this, but today is School Librarian Day. Let me know if your kids have a special school librarian in their lives. Let me know if you had a special school librarian in your life. I loved library time at school. It was one of my favorite things. And I loved going to the local library here. My teen librarian still works at the library here, and I see her often, and it's such a fun thing, such a pleasure to have been able to reconnect with her after all this time, and really was a lot of joy. So happy School Librarian Day to any of the special ones that are out there. Also, it is National Walk Around Things Day, and I thought at first that meant something about like don't worry about picking it up, just walk around it. That's where, see, this is where my mind goes, because I'm like, oh, I don't have to pick that up, I'll just walk around it today. No, it actually means just spend some time to walk around. So wah wah wah, I need that kind of that kind of sound for that moment, because I thought it was an opportunity to not have to pick things up, but it is not. Walk around more today. It's what that message is. It is also National Vitamin C Day today, and I want to give you guys a little bit of insight here into vitamin C. But vitamin C, a lot of people think, oh, oranges. Okay, oranges, that's vitamin C. Yeah, right. When we think of the foods, but there are some foods that actually have way more vitamin C than oranges do. So rose hips, red bell pepper, guava, papaya, and chili pepper all have way more vitamin C than oranges do. In fact, vitamin C has oranges have approximately 70 milligrams of vitamin C. Guava has 126. Okay, so maybe look for some new ways to incorporate vitamin C into your diet today, maybe in ways that you didn't think of before. So for sure. I want to get to birthdays and stuff this morning. So let me know if you have a birthday or are celebrating today. Care Bears movie on it. Listen, I am here for that. And Carole King that sings the theme to the Care Bears movie. Care-a-Lot is a place we all can go. I'm here for it. Okay, I just had that whole nostalgic moment. Mandy B is here this morning. Hard work and passion are key. Learning that the challenges are actually important for our character and how we move forward. Moments are just that, but each time it gets easier to ground. Love that. And good morning. Good morning. Glad to see you here today, Miss Mandy. And yes, love some bell peppers. I'm going to have that for lunch today. Red bell peppers and some hummus. I'm here for all of that today. With I'll have that and watch the Care Bears movie, and yeah, it's gonna it's gonna be a good day. We got to get to birthdays, and so that's what we're gonna do now. In the celebrity world, there's a couple people who had birthdays today who are no longer with us, but worth mentioning for sure. Heath Ledger is one. Happy birthday, Heath Ledger. And also the incomparable Maya Angelou had a birthday today as well. In the rest of the celebrity world, we have Todrick Hall, who continues to sing the soundtrack of my life. Nails, hair, hips, heels. Not quite, but it's funny to think about. Jill Scott, R&B. Do you know she's 50 now? Okay, that's all I'm gonna say about that. Natasha Lyonne, you might know her, actress from Orange Is the New Black. She's also in a new one. I think it's called Poker Face. I think I saw the show come out. Have you guys seen that show? I haven't seen that show yet, but it keeps popping up that I need to watch it. But anytime, here's that don't tell me what to do thing. Every time I see it pop up, I'm like, nah, don't tell me to don't tell me to watch that. Magician David Blaine has a birthday today as well. So happy birthday to all those celebrities. The celebrities in my life, we have a breakthrough alumni. Terrain LeBeau has a birthday today. Happy birthday, Terrain. And then a couple of good friends, Christy Elise and my girl from back in school days, Rachel Fields. Happy birthday to you as well. I hope you guys all have an amazing day. And let's get our birthday song on. Here we go. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Keith Ledger, Maya Angelou, Todrick Hall, Jill Scott, Natalie, hello, Natasha Lyonne, David Blaine, Christy Elise, Rachel Fields, and Terrain LeBeau. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to all those celebrating and who will be celebrating coming up. Of course, we're going to continue with birthdays this week. I got to tell you a couple things really quickly. So tonight, 5:05 p.m., My Way comes back. Conversations with entrepreneurs doing business outside the box. We're going to be talking to Brunella Costigliola and really excited to have a conversation with her. I just recorded with her yesterday, you guys, for her episode of One coming up on April 14th, 6 p.m. on Friday. You guys are going to be so moved by her one story and the lessons that she learned, where she talks about her cultural heritage, being an immigrant from Italy. And it was just a great time. It was really a great time. And I can't wait for you to hear from her. So, but we're going to be live tonight on My Way. So make sure you check that out. Also, don't forget, coming up on Thursday, we have the premiere of Declutter for Change live with the fabulous Heather Clark. This is bringing all your declutter, cleaning, home suggestions, questions live to you at 10 a.m. Eastern time on the first and third Thursday of the month. I believe she's talking about spring cleaning, but she talks about decluttering body, mind, spirit, and home. So talking about a lot of those different things in your life. So come with questions. I know some of y'all have that junk drawer in your house and you need to work on it. So we're going to be talking about that with Heather live. Also, speaking of One, we have the premiere of One coming up this Friday at 6 p.m. Eastern time. The first story is actually my own, talking about how I came to create the Breakthrough Show Network and that one story that led me to that moment. And so I'm excited to be my own first guest on Friday. And then we have, like I said, Brunella coming up the following Friday and Steve Gamlin coming up the Friday after that. So make sure you guys check out all of that fun stuff. It's going to be amazing. And I will be back normal time, 8 a.m. Eastern time tomorrow through Friday as well. And until that time tomorrow morning, I want to remind you to make joy a priority in your life today and every day. I'm Jessica Dugas, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye, everybody.